Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sanjana in case you don't know, and as you can tell from the title of this video, I will be turning 25 soon. And as I'm hitting this milestone age of my life, I thought it would be interesting to document how I feel about certain topics, and these are topics that I feel like I keep thinking about every once in a while, and I keep assessing how I feel about them. And these are topics that I feel like I also have different opinions and feelings about as I've grown older, and I thought it would be interesting to document them so that I can revisit them and see if I have a different feeling or a different opinion about them um, once I grow older. So that's the idea of this video. I have 10 topics written down in my journal that I want to put out there and document. So here we go. So the first question or first topic is, how do I feel about turning 25? I have friends who are 25 or about to turn 25 or slightly older than 25, and a lot of them, or many of them I would say, feel sad that they're getting closer to the age of 25 or are past 25 years of age, and they reminisce that if the younger days are gone, and they feel sad that they're not as young anymore and they're not going to get any younger. And when I think about turning 25, I have the exact opposite feeling about it. I'm in fact very, very excited about turning 25, and the biggest reason why I feel that way is because I will get closer to having my prefrontal cortex completely developed. So this is the part of your brain that helps you regulate your emotions, make more well-informed decisions, taking the entire big picture into account, being able to deal with stressful situations, have more clarity in life in general. So I love all these things, and I feel like having the ability and the essential tool in my brain to be able to do these things would be such a huge improvement in the quality of my life. And I have already felt this in the past one to 1.5 years. I already feel more clarity in my head. It feels like a fog has been lifted off my mind sometimes, and I understand my tendencies so much better. I understand emotions and feelings of other human beings better. I feel like I can empathize a lot more than I used to be able to. And in general, I'm just very, very excited to have that ability in me and that tool which I can exercise to lead a more fulfilling and complete life in some sense. So I am very excited about turning 25. The second question is what my thoughts are on privilege. So this is a very touchy topic. I know this is a very sensitive topic, and I have thought about this topic so many times over the last 5-6 years now, and my feelings have changed quite a bit about this topic. When I was younger, I used to feel way more guilty and ashamed of having privilege in my life, and it got to an extent where I would very, very consciously make an effort to hide my privilege. That's how bad I used to feel that I had this privilege. I used to question myself if I deserve it, if this is something that I really need to have in my life. But now that I think about it, I feel like those questions are kind of wasteful to engage yourself in, because the question of whether you deserve something only makes sense if you actually worked towards it, if you made an effort towards it, if you put in hard work to make something, to achieve something, or to get something. But privilege is something that has nothing to do with your effort or your hard work. It's just something you suddenly are blessed with in your life. You have zero contribution towards it. So I think it's a wasteful exercise to think of those questions when it comes to privilege. And I've realized that the reason why I used to feel a lot of shame and guilt about privilege is because I saw a lot of people around me who had very similar privileges as me, and I saw them really misuse and abuse their privilege in so many ways. And that really used to break my heart, and I used to feel like if this is how people are abusing their privilege, then I'm sure that there are people around who are angry about people who have privilege. And I think that's probably where my guilt and sh- that feeling of shame stemmed out when it came to privilege. But now I actually don't feel any shame or any guilt for having certain privileges in my life. I in fact feel a lot of gratitude that I have been blessed with the privileges that I do have in my life. And I think the shift happened when I realized that the bigger question when it comes to privilege is not whether you have it or not, but how you choose to use it in your life. And there's a very fine line between using and abusing your privilege, and that fine line is your moral compass, your morality, your values, and how empathetic or how kind you are to people around you and to yourself, and how much you care about the people around you and the world in general. So I think once I realized that I can use my privilege for good things, for my own growth, without hindering or negatively impacting somebody else's life, I realized that privilege is a very beautiful thing. And a lot of times I've also realized that the positive effects that privilege offers is something that does not have to just limit those benefits do not have to just apply to me. And I feel like over the last year or so, whenever something good happens to me, I try to make sure that people around me or the people I love or the people I care about can also benefit from it. And this is how I want to use my privilege, and being this way is what makes me happy and makes me feel fulfilled, like as if there's more meaning and more purpose in my life. And I feel like using privilege this way instead of abusing it has given truly a new idea and perspective on privilege, and therefore I no longer feel ashamed or guilty about it. The next question is, what is my identity? To be honest, I don't know what my identity is, and I feel like this is an interesting question because every time you try to measure or define what your identity is, your identity actually changes, because once you try to box yourself in or label yourself into certain things, then you also try to question if you really fit that box or if you really fit that label. Because I can, for instance, call myself empathetic, but I'm sure empathy is such a broad spectrum. You can be zero on empathy, or you can also be infinity on empathy. So where you fall on that spectrum, no one knows, no one can actually measure it. And the act of measurement, I feel, actually changes your identity itself, because then you start asking questions on how empathetic you are, and you go deeper into those kinds of questions. So I feel like, yeah, I don't know what my identity is, and honestly it's scary to think about it, because I don't want to label myself and box myself and associate labels to the way I am. I want to have the fluidity in my life to become the person that I want at any point in my life. So I don't want a label associated with me, because I know that once I strongly associate my identity with something, and if I really change into being someone else, and I find it very very difficult to let go of that label that I hold so dearly to me. So I don't think I want to have a very fixed identity, and I think my identity or the things I choose to identify myself will probably keep evolving and changing a lot. The next question is, am I living my dream life? Now, this is also an interesting question, because I have had so many dream lives at every stage of my life. When I was in my teens, I wanted to have a big vanity. I wanted to have my own big room with like cutely decorated furniture and a lot of clothes. a lot of nail art products. That's what I wanted when I was a teenager. And then when I went to university, I wanted a job. I wanted to be more financially independent. That was my dream life. I wanted to build my own space and just have my own identity when it comes to making financial decisions. And now my dream life is so completely different. I want so many different things from life right now. So I feel like my dream life keeps changing all the time as I keep growing. But I feel like the one thing that's been consistent is my zest towards living that dream life. I feel like I have a lot of perseverance. You can call it perseverance or a lot of stubbornness. And I'm very stubborn about if this is the dream life I want, then I'm going to get it. I think that fire in me has always been there, even though my dreams change. So I still want to achieve and hustle towards my dreams as I have wanted to when I was 13 years old. Ooh, next question is a bit interesting. This question is if I believe in God. The short answer to this question is that yes, right now I do believe in God. But there was a time when I was in my early 20s and I thought that I could contest whether I believe in God or not, and I did for a year or something. I was like, why should I have to believe in God? I really challenged the idea of it, and I realized that I really actually like believing in God. It gives me a lot of peace of mind, and I feel a lot calmer when I believe in God, and I just feel more relaxed and okay about not having answers to questions. And it's more easy for me to believe that not every question can be answered. I feel like a lot of times in life, when you have all these hindering thoughts in your head about why me, why is this happening, why do things have to work this way, why can't I have that, why can't things work out in this way for me, why am I already not there, these kinds of questions. I feel like they keep coming into my head so very often. And if I didn't believe in God, I would have taken the scientific approach of actually wanting to answer each of those questions, which it's exhausting, right? And answers to those questions, I don't think they will put me in peace. They're only going to make more questions come in my mind. And I feel like just having faith and belief in God and just having that faith in me has helped me be okay with having a lot of open-ended questions in my life and living life with those questions in me. Next question is, do I have an opinion on everything? Again, short answer is no, because I don't see the need to have an opinion on everything, because having an opinion on something does not mean it's going to bring a tangible difference to anybody's life. I'm sure that having an opinion is always the first step towards change. That I strongly believe in. But having an opinion does not guarantee change. My brother always keeps telling me this, that you can't think through your problems, right? You have to act on them. Act on fixing your problems at some point. And I feel like having an opinion is an activity that can unconsciously push you into a rabbit hole, because you feel like you have worked towards something in your head, but in reality you have not. You're just in your head, and it does not guarantee you any change. So I feel like it's better to have lesser opinions and work on those than have so many opinions and not act on anything. So I feel like it's good to limit the amount you think and jump into action first before thinking more. So I think that's something that I'm slowly trying to embrace now. And honestly, even if you really want to have an opinion on everything, I don't think humanly it's possible to act on everything. So it's worth to pick one cause or pick one thing that you're really passionate about and your heart takes you to, and act on it and actually make a difference. So yeah, that's what I feel, and I have certain things that I feel very strongly about, and I choose to act on it instead of having a multitude of things that I care about. So yeah, that's what I feel about having an opinion on everything. Next question is, how do I perceive jealousy and pity? This is a very interesting question, because recently I realized that I don't feel jealous anymore. There was this instance where I really wanted something in my life, and I was very sad actually that it was taking so long for it to come through, for it to work out, and I was just feeling generally dejected. And then I saw a friend of mine actually get it for herself very quickly. She I think she was working towards it very very rigorously for like about a week or 2 weeks, and she already had it. And I had been working on it maybe for like a year, and I still didn't have it. But at that moment, all I felt was a lot of joy for my friend that at least she is able to live the dream that I want to. And I don't know, my belief and my faith in my dream got reinstated. Like, I suddenly had more belief in the dream that I had dreamed, because my first thought was, if she can achieve it, of course I can achieve my dream as well. And I felt so energized and so motivated and so inspired, and I was just like so much more happier to see that someone I really care about and someone I really love is living the dream that I also dreamed for myself. So that moment I really realized that, okay, I don't think I can feel jealousy anymore. I can either feel a lot of happiness, a lot of sadness, or whatever emotion that the set person is feeling for themselves when something happens to them, or I feel complete indifference. So jealousy is probably not in the picture at all. And when it comes to pity, I think I get very offended when someone pities me. This is something I've realized recently, that I don't like pity. I don't like when someone views me as a bechari or lachar, because I don't think I am bechari in any way. I don't think I'm pavam in any way. I still don't know why I feel offended. I think that's something very interesting to think about, but I don't like someone like showing sympathy to me. Like, no, I can't deal with it. I don't like it. I think I just get angry when someone pities me. The next question is very interesting. It is, does independence come with loneliness? And I think I've realized that it does not necessarily have to. Because I think independence does not mean that you don't ask for help. It just means that you have a choice when you want to ask for help. You can decide whether you want help or not. And like I said, there is no shame in asking for help or using the privilege of having a friend in your life if you can. So I don't think independence necessarily means loneliness. It just means you have more choice, you have more option in terms of how you want to exercise that independence, whether it's financial, or it is emotional independence, or it's physical independence. I think it just depends on how you want to exercise it. Now, if you want to exercise it by being completely isolated, I think that's up to you. But I don't feel lonely. I am independent in most ways in life. I don't feel lonely. I still ask for a lot of help if I need help. And I feel like moving abroad and not having my family around to readily help me has made it more easier for me to ask for help externally, actually. And to just seek out people and friends, and to just catch up with friends, or just be the first person to send the text. So yeah, I don't think I feel lonely. Next question, somewhat related, I guess, to the previous one, is how has living alone or moving to the Netherlands changed my life? It's changed my life in so many ways. I've grown so very much. I have the experience of building a life for myself from scratch, doing everything on my own, figuring out um, the legalities of living in another country, of moving houses, um, having studied abroad, making friends, new friends in your 20s. I think it comes with a lot of new experiences, and I think when every win that you experience when you move abroad, I feel like it builds so much confidence within you, because you know that you are the one that's propelling movement in order to get closer to achieving something when you live by yourself. And I think every win just makes me feel more confident in the fact that, you know, if I set my mind to something and actually do something about it, I will definitely see the end of the tunnel, and I will definitely be able to achieve it. I feel like there is so much more confidence and faith in myself. And emotionally, I feel like I have had more, um, I find it more easier to have boundaries with, with, with when it comes to with family or with friends. I feel like the distance kind of helps have a much healthier relationship with everyone, because you know, when there is so much of physical distance, and the time that you spend together with someone becomes so scarce. All parties involved just want to make sure that the mutual time that you have together is beautiful, it's filled with happy memories, and everyone's happy and everyone's having a good time. And I feel like when the objective becomes that, to have a good time together, then automatically a lot of empathy and a lot of understanding and kindness and compassion comes into the picture. Not just that, and also a lot of acceptance for the other person in your life. And you just cannot take someone for granted when you do that. So I feel like in terms of that, there is so much space, so much new space for having beautiful memories with family and friends who are very long distance from me. And I feel like moving abroad has indeed helped with that. There are also sad moments about having moved abroad. Is the other side of the coin, which is that I live far away from my parents, I live far away from all of my family now. And it is sometimes sad. I do miss my parents a lot at certain times, and thinking that why am I not at home for Diwali this year? I wish I was at home dressing up, decorating the house, spending time with my family. There are moments like that as well, but I think overall I would say it's been pretty good so far. And we are coming to our last question now. It is what is the one or two things that I always wish to believe in? And these are things that I think I have decided to believe in since the last 1.5 years. The first thing is something that I actually read, that actually came across when I was doing like a Coursera course at work. I think it was something about how to have a good relationship with clients or something. It was more psychology based course that I did on Coursera, and it had this one statement, which is that everyone is trying to do their best. And that statement, I think it really made me think a lot, that you know, actually everyone is just trying to do their best. Everyone's best is very different on a day-to-day basis. Today someone's best can be the worst on the following day, right? So I think just believing that everyone is trying to do their best reduces the possibility of misunderstandings, or unnecessary negative judgmental assumptions that one might have about someone else. And most importantly, this assumption, just believing in this, has helped me get so much helped me have so much peace of mind, because all the unnecessary questions of, is this person really trying their best, is this person mm, trying to cheat me, is this person plotting something against me, those kinds of questions just vanish from my head, and I just feel more peaceful. It helps me feel more calm and not be worried and anxious and vigilant all the time. So I really like to believe that, unless someone proves me wrong, in which case I will not believe it. But so far, it's I think worked in my favor in believing in this, because I really genuinely feel that everyone at some level is definitely trying to do their best in their lives. And yeah, so far I haven't been disappointed believing in this. And the second thing that I believe in as well, it's actually something I actually came across on Instagram, and again it also made me think a lot, is this quote which says that honesty without compassion is cruelty, and kindness without honesty is manipulation. And I don't know if I can explain it very well, but I think it's very self-explanatory as well. And I feel like this just reminds me that you can be assertive and still do it with a lot of humility and respect. That you don't need that having a strong opinion does not mean that you are suddenly an aggressive person. No, you can do it with a lot of kindness, with a lot of grace, and with a lot of compassion and empathy. And it just is a matter of how you address it and how you share it with someone else. And this is something I'm still working very hard on, to to have my own assertions and my own strong opinions, while also being a good person overall to myself, but also to the people around me. But yeah, remembering this and having this in the back of my mind has helped me be more kind to everyone around me. So I'm very happy that I do believe in these things, and I really hope I continue to believe them even in the future. With that, we come to an end of turning 25 of this video, of thinking out loud about certain topics that have always evoked curiosity in me. I'm really curious what you guys think about these topics, because I feel like these are very interesting topics to think about, and yeah, I'm very curious to know what everyone else would think about this. So let me know, and I will see you soon. Bye.